Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm here to introduce you to some of the most interesting and successful business people. I want you to learn their stories and what made them be who they are today, the insights and secrets to their success. I want you to have real business people getting real. In this series I call The Real Business Superpowers. Here to join us is Paula Cimmarusti. She is a highly qualified body language coach as well as an experienced marketing consultant and brand guru. She is from PAC Consulting at Networking. Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking with Paula Cimmarusti. She is a highly qualified body language coach whose primary goal is to help you succeed in your business and personal life. She is also an experienced marketing consultant and brand guru, having worked with leaders in the premium luxury sports and eyewear industry, Luxottica Group, top Los Angeles spine surgeons, award-winning plastic surgeons, and she knows that branding doesn't end in professional settings. Not only that, but Paula is a really good friend of mine, and I'm really excited to introduce you to her because she's an amazing human being and she's so much fun. Welcome, Paula.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here with you,
Yeah.
and especially chat. I couldn't think of a better thing to do on a Saturday.
I'm really excited that you're here too. It's really, really cool that you wanted to do the interview. So I'm really humbled by it.
I think it's a great time for us to catch up too.
Yeah. So this whole thing is about helping people know a bit about business and about how successful people have got to where they are. And I thought you would be a great example to share your stories. So I actually wanted to ask you to start with, how did you start your branding and marketing company?
So I started PAC Consulting and Networking with one client and one small bank account. And I wanted to give entrepreneurs and startup companies options that larger firms weren't giving them at a more reasonable price. So I basically just went out there one day and I had options, and I just started with that one client, and it was not easy at all. I know that a lot of times business owners say that they started a company and right off the bat, they got a lot of yeses. Well, for me, I did not get that. I got a lot of no's. And the first couple times I brushed them off because, as I was always told, Rome wasn't built in one day. But after the no's started rolling in a little bit more and more, it was a huge shock, and I was nervous and I wanted to quit and go back to my 9-to-5 job and work for the larger firms. But I kept going out there and I kept, seeking what I was missing, because objectively I felt like I was qualified. I had worked for larger firms. I knew marketing and branding and how important it was. I had got college degrees. I went and got other certifications, but on paper that wasn't enough. And that's when I learned a little bit more about body language. And that's when it pretty much changed the whole game, should I say. I did a lot of sales trainings. And in the sales trainings, what we did was we touched briefly on body language. So we did merchandise marketing, and I would work with retail stores. And I would talk to them about the different sales techniques and body language. And I would always get a huge response from the corporations telling me that the body language training was the part of the sales trainings that the sales team identified the most with. And on top of that, they were seeing a difference in their sales. So I thought, okay, if this little bit is making a difference, I should probably learn more. So that's what I did. And I did a lot of research on body language, and I got my certification with the Science of People. And it definitely was a big game changer, because body language aren't skills that we learned in school. And when we look great on paper, it's a completely different story when you actually interact with someone. And that's my whole entire concept of PAC Consulting and Networking, is that branding isn't only about a corporation, but it's also about each and every one of us as individuals. Because every day we are branding ourselves. Because the first time we interact with someone, our first impressions, all of that is an interaction in branding. So every day we're selling ourselves and we're doing our own branding. So that's kind of the whole concept that I started PAC Consulting and Networking with. And it was not easy. It's, there's still days that it's not easy, but I do love what I do, and I love seeing my clients tell me that they see a huge difference in their interactions and how much it changes them, and how much, especially for startups, how they see a change with the options, especially for the budget, that they weren't getting in other firms.
Wow.
So yeah.
So you were talking about that the beginning you were having loads of no's. So now that you
Yeah.
have the body language skills, you do see a difference.
I definitely see a difference. And I think the most important thing is that I see a difference if I feel a no is coming. It's usually a mutual no, because I think we're just not a fit. And I handle those situations a lot better than I did at the beginning. And I think that that's an important skill that any individual should always learn, that no's aren't always bad. They're actually sometimes can be a good thing.
Exactly. And also it helps you, well, I don't know if it happens with you, but it was kind of the same thing with me. It was like I had another company before and I had loads of no's, and because of that and other reasons I ended up in learning body language, and those no's made me more, I guess, stronger in a way, and also more excited about the yes.
Yes, I feel this as I scream yes. I feel the same exact way. It's a life-changing experience when you really figure out the whole entire concept about the word no, because no's aren't necessarily a bad thing if you're learning something from it. And like you said, it completely changed your career. That's huge.
And I guess when you get a no, sometimes as a startup, when you're starting your company, you're like, it's your baby, you have your idea, and you're out there trying to get people to buy what you're selling, or people to understand what your concept is, and then you can sometimes get lost in anyone's my client. But in reality, not everyone's your client, and you should be more, instead of trying to sell to everyone, be actually more selective on who you want to give your product or service to. And we kind of get lost into it.
I completely agree. And that's even the case for individuals and relationships.
Yeah.
A lot of times, when I started my business, everyone was like, go to every single networking event you can and pick anyone you can. And I did that. But sometimes you're not pitching to the right people. And in relationships, sometimes you're not finding the right person. That can be like a romantic relationship, a friendship, a partnership, all of that. So I think it's important that you learn where you spend your valuable time. And I think all of that goes into companies and us as individuals in our social life as well.
Does it make you feel that now that you have body language, or you're an absolute expert on it and you teach it as well, so now you have those skills like spot on, that the people that you end up attracting, because now you're able with your body language to determine who could be a possible client or connection or contact that you want, or friendship that you want to establish or not, so you can be more selective. Do you feel that now you start getting people that you want to be around your network? I don't know if that makes sense. Like people starts approaching you rather than you having to approach them, and it's people that you genuinely want.
I think you value your friendships and relationships a lot different. I think you really start to see the value in each relationship that you have that maybe I didn't see before. I've been starting kind of this new thing about looking for things every day that I take advantage of. And I noticed that sometimes that friendly little wave or like drive by that someone does, like, go ahead. I sometimes just like ignore that. But that's an interaction. That's a relationship. Like that person allowed me to go ahead of them. They might have been having a bad day. So all that stuff, I feel like I value things differently now than I did before, because I was never paying attention to stuff like that. Exactly like I think people don't pay attention often to what their body language is saying, and they're so focused on their words.
Going back a little bit to the branding side of your company, why do you think it's important? You kind of touched on it a little bit, but why do you think it's so important for a company, especially if it's a startup or already ongoing company, to have good branding and good marketing?
I actually love that question because I think there's a huge misconception about marketing and branding. It's not about having a nice logo and a nice business card. It's actually the whole entire package. Branding is that, I think I touched base on it a little bit before, is that very first interaction that someone is exposed to your company or your brand. That is the minute they have a connection. And it goes all the way through to customer service, to packaging, to their interactions with other people discussing marketing. All of that is so important. And I think a lot of times firms and individuals think that marketing is so focused on having this amazing logo. I think all of that is important. And I think colors play into factor. I think websites play into factor. I believe in all of that. But it's also the whole package. Because you can have an amazing brand and an amazing product, but you might not have the backup that it needs to be exposed to the world and to your target audience. So I think it's really important that companies realize that it's not just one thing that makes branding important. It's the whole entire package.
And even emails, right? Even like to the point of how you write an email.
Yes. I mean, have you ever had an interaction where maybe you received a package and it wasn't what you expected?
Yeah.
It was broken, or maybe it was smaller than you thought or larger than you thought, and you call the company and you get transferred to 5 different people just to maybe get a packing slip to send the package back. That experience that you went through has a direct influence on the brand. And that might just be one person, but how many people do you think might be calling in? Maybe it didn't work. Or maybe they're actually calling in to say how much they love it and they want to buy more, and it's sold out online. Yeah. Or it's sold out in stores. All of that is branding. And all of that is the experience. And that's why I like to relate it to individuals as well. That's like my huge kind of concept, is that branding is not just in companies. It is in individuals as well. Like, we are branding ourselves every day.
So now that you have all your branding and marketing experience, plus all the body language and basically how to hack people's behavior in a way, you put all that together, and that's what you're giving your clients at the moment. You give them like, hey, here is an actual full-on package.
Exactly. That's why I like to work with everywhere between the sales teams on the floor to the customer service representatives that you're speaking with, to the CEOs, to the CFOs, to the human resource teams. All of that is all marketing. And I'm able to use the body language and marketing and branding for it. So
that's
I love
amazing. How long did it take you to get to where you are? If you were to go like, well, this is where my idea and my nose started till today, that you're this very successful businesswoman in LA. How long do you think it took you?
I would say I've always had a personal passion for branding. It was just, no matter what, if I saw a package was being delivered for my mom, I would look at it and be like, I'm amazed by the package. Sometimes when I was little, I would be more involved with the package than the actual gift inside.
That's amazing.
So that I had a passion for branding, and it obviously caught me at a very young age. So honestly, it's always been an important part for me. I've always been interested in it, and I always was fascinated with it. I would watch like commercials, and I would like have my cousins and like family members be like, let's act our own commercial. Like we can step them up one, and I would make them like film commercials. Just like I just had a passion for branding ever since I was little. So it's been a long time. It's definitely been a long time. And I just am so fortunate that I got to learn the body language aspect of it that I did, because I feel like that was a huge game changer for me. And it really gave me the opportunity to see how important that is in the marketing world. And I think it's missed often.
Yeah, definitely. And how long did it take you for you to see results in your company?
Oh, I still struggle every day. I think, as any business person would say, entrepreneur, large companies, there's never you have those days where you're just like, I did it. And then you have those days where you're like, I didn't do so well today.
Yeah.
But the thing is that every day is a challenge, and every day we learn something new. And I would say that it took a while for me to get a foundation for my business. Like I said, I started with one client and one very low bank account. And that stayed that way for probably like a good year. Because I was going up against larger firms, and I didn't realize that, because going into my company, I got a lot of verbal yeses, saying, yes, once you start your company, I'm in for it. And sometimes those don't always work out. So it definitely took me some time to really get a foundation for my business. And I would say, for startup companies and entrepreneurs, I always say, like, my one advice would be, like, nothing happens overnight in anything in life, and that's including businesses, unless you hit the lottery. But it's true. Like, don't expect anything overnight. Everything takes work. It's kind of like the magic diet pill, people say. There's no magic diet pill. Like, you have to work out, you have to eat right? It's exactly like business. You have to work hard, and you have to focus on aspects. You might have to work harder than other people sometimes. You might have to give up your weekends or holidays or nights, but that's what it takes. And in the end, you get to be proud of what you built.
That's amazing. That was really, really well put.
Yeah.
What are you most grateful for? That will be my next question. What are you most grateful for?
I would say, and I think we touched base on this a little bit earlier, I've been doing this new thing, and I think I'm grateful for my experiences, the stuff that I take for granted, like those interactions daily that I have with, at the grocery store, with the mailman, with just anyone, like those interactions that I have daily, I realize that I'm actually so grateful for, because you just don't realize that. And they make your day. I don't know about me, like anyone else, but for me, they do. There's this feeling that you get when someone just gives you a smile in the elevator, and you get to, like, smile back at them. Or you get a, hi, how's your day going? It's those little things I think we take for granted.
Yeah.
Well, there's messages in the morning from a friend that's saying, like, haven't heard from you in a while. How are you doing? Like, those things I feel like we sometimes don't appreciate. So recently, that's something I've been focusing on. I've been really grateful for those interactions, those
and
experiences.
I think what you're saying is very important, because especially when we're so busy and focused on our work or our personal life, we sometimes are just looking at what's happening in front of us, but we don't really see our surroundings. And reality is that if we're only focused on something that we don't know is going to happen, or it might even not be where we're actually going to get, and we're going to get somewhere better, and we're so focused on that we missed out on everything else.
I completely agree. So it's my new thing that I've been doing lately.
I love it.
It's good. I don't really know how it came about, but it was just one day I just realized it put me in a good mood, and I was like, I'm going to start realizing those moments and those experiences, and I'm just trying to be keeping track of that. And then
do you write them down or something, or just kind of like remember?
Yes.
You do? Oh my God, that's amazing.
Just so that you can remember and look back. Like, someone sent me a text. The random woman in the elevator, smiled back at me, or it's just those little things. It's a fun little project I've been working on. Like, it's not for any, like, experiment or anything. It's just for me to know, like, always appreciate those moments.
I think that's amazing, especially because a lot of us just forget about those things, so it's really impressive. I love it. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
I would say that with the whole part of body language and teaching, and I think you can agree with me on this, is that the science is so important, and also the opportunity to be able to use those skills and give people solutions they can immediately use in their lives. So I think in the next 5 years, I would love to do more experiments and to really, like, focus on the science of it. Because it's one thing when you tell someone, this is how you can negotiate better. This is how you can interact with people better.
Yeah.
And then you bring the science into it, and it's like, wow. And I think that's a really big, important part for me.
Yeah.
And I've been focusing on that lately, thinking about it, goals-wise. And I would say for me right now in the moment, my goal for 5 years, would be to focus on the science and experiments, to be able to bring this information to more individuals and more companies, because I think it's huge. And I think it's something that really should be focused on in schools, from all the way from elementary school through high school, through college, to corporations. So I think the science part of it and the experiments is something that I'm really into lately. And I think it's an important thing.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I completely 100% agree with you. 100% agree with you. And then, so just to finalize,
we can mastermind together.
So we actually kind of do sometimes, but
this is very true. This pretty much every day.
So just our last question, just to finish off. I wanted to ask you, is there any last piece of advice? You already gave them an amazing advice before, because you put it so well. But is there anything that you would advise people that are starting a new company or thinking of starting one? Is there any advice that you would give them?
Besides the advice earlier, I would say the next thing would be contracts. And I think that's an important thing that you don't kind of learn about. And everything that you do, it's important to be able to like make sure that you have all of that stuff in order. Not saying that anything's going to happen, but making sure that your name is legal, to making sure everything that you're doing in like your website, and you're not using other photos, or you're not using a name that's been used before, that you're registered. If you're going to be selling and working internationally, I think all of that is important, that no one really teaches you or tells you. Sometimes they tell you about make sure that you have this business and you're paying your taxes and you're doing this, but no one really tells you kind of about like, okay, you have a contract with each of your clients. You also have a different tax period. You working internationally is something too. Selling internationally, using a branding name that might be used by another company. All of that I think is important for startups and entrepreneurs, because it's definitely things that I've learned along the way. And I've learned that it's, sometimes you're so eager for clients, you're willing to say yes to anyone that's saying yes to you. And sometimes you work hard and you don't get rewarded for it. And it's hard on you, both personally and financially. So I think those little aspects are important for business. That would probably be my one business advice.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, and I think it also helps you with the headache of, I don't know, if you do the branding and then you happen to have it with someone else's name, then you get someone suing you or something happening, and then you have all this really bad experience, and you end up spending more money, more time on something that you needed to do if you had done the proper research.
Exactly, and you think you're like, well, I'm a small company, like I don't understand. So all
what are you doing to me?
Why are you after me?
I'm a tiny company. Leave me alone.
That would be my one bit of business advice.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good and important advice. Okay, well, that's it for our interviews. Thank you so much, Paula, for being here, and for you.
It was a blast.
Thank you so much for being here. And for you guys that are watching us, remember to subscribe, to follow us, to give us a thumbs up, and all these things. We're going to put all the links from Paula and her company on the comments below, so in the comment section, so you can know more about her. She's amazing. Her work is awesome. Her website is so beautiful. I totally love her website. And we will be posting this sort of interviews every week, so you learn new skills and get to know more people.
I'm definitely tuning in.
Yay! And we're going to be able to learn new skills and information from people that are in business and tell you everything about it. So thank you so much, Paula, again. And bye, guys. Until next time. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We'll be posting videos like this every week, and follow us on Twitter at Behavior Hacker. We are Beorigami at beorigami.com.